Yo, 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 good people. It's your homie HerbMan. Busting you back upside the head with another hot banger. Wicked, please go tell somebody to go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. Yes, sir. And if you're new to the program, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms at Love HerbMan. All right, so I am your neighborhood holistic practitioner. I'm the one and only HerbMan. Thank you for coming to the HerbMan Show. This is where we teach people how to heal themselves, but you cannot heal yourself unless you know thyself. So we're going to keep on teaching you about the human frame and the human design so that you guys can be well on your way to happiness, wholeness, and wellness. All right, these are the three things that we deserve in this particular experience. We just got to show you how to get these things, how to obtain what you're looking for in this paradigm. And that's why we're going to really be talking to you guys today about understanding the differences between your creative mode and you being creation, okay? And understanding the difference in the power that you really have as creation and also the power you have as a creator. You guys know that this is a free information station. You don't have to pay for anything that you hear here today. All you simply got to do is pay attention. And how we do that on the HerbMan Show is by double tapping that screen and getting us up to 100,000 likes during the live broadcast or more. Look, I'm going to work for my likes. You work for your listening privilege, and you be able to be interactive, share, follow, do whatever you got to do. Subscribe. We're live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Go get somewhere, get situated. It's Saturday here on the East Coast, and so we're going to make sure that you guys get what thus says nature, okay? We got to get you to return back to your original design and at least at nonetheless know about it, okay? Whether you return or not is on you, but to know the way back home is the biggest point that we're trying to offer you guys today. You want to be able to get that map back home, okay? So what you're looking at here is your map back home. We call it the owner's manual. We call it the blueprint, okay? If you guys are interested in anything that you hear here today, simply go to the website, type in owner's manual for that little funky, measly $50 that you're holding on to. You can get an opportunity to find your way back home or at least know where you at. When you're looking at the GPS, you guys, a GPS system gives you two coordinates. It's going to tell you where you're currently at, and it's going to give you your destination. This does the same thing. It tells you where you're at currently, and it's going to give you the destination. And most of our destinations is our starting point. You started somewhere, but you just don't know that you got to get back to where you started from. You got to go back home. You got to go back home. So as we continue to keep showing you guys and teaching you guys this stuff, man, this is a very, very fun, very, very good submersive experience. When you come on the HerbMan Show, we have a school. So if you guys want to learn how to do this for yourself, for your community, for your family, jump into the school. We have the early bird special. You only got 4 days left at the price that it's at right now. This is a year-long initiatory school. A year-long initiatory school, right? That means for my initiates, people who are really trying to get this information. It can't happen in a few weeks. So therefore, we made it a year long for $1,000 or either $100 a month, whichever way you want to be able to get in. But that's the early bird special. After March 31st, it will double in price, okay? Again, this is a year-long course, you guys. So for that particular price, we feel like it is not only accessible, very affordable, but this information is going to be very effective. If you are an inspiring herbalist, if you're already an herbalist and you're just looking for a system, this is it. If you're a doctor of naturopathy, a chiropractic, or even an allopathic doctor that really wants to learn how to do this thing in traditional medicine, this is the system for you. Now, beyond the shameless plug, let's go ahead and get right into it, you guys. Now, when we start to talk about our glandular system, right? Our glandular system, which is our endocrine system. The endocrine system is one of the most important systems to learn about in your body, right along with the nervous system, right along with the immune system, aka the lymphatic system, okay? Right along with the digestive system. So all of these little 3 or 4 systems is really where problems going to arrive and be able to also spread throughout the body. So once it get attached to the blood and get into that circulatory system, oh, then we got a problem, okay? But there is one gland. Everybody knows about the pineal. How many people know about the pineal? Put some ones in the chat. If you've ever heard of the pineal gland, put some ones in the chat. A lot of people know about the pineal gland. Okay, there's not too many people that has never heard of the pineal gland, especially when we're doing health and especially when we're talking about spirituality, esoteric stuff like that. The pineal gland seems to be the one everybody talks about. How many people have ever heard of your pituitary gland? I know a lot of time when we're dealing with puberty and we're dealing with certain things as we grow up, they used to teach us about the pituitary gland really being one of the major glands when we're talking about our puberty. Okay, so people have heard of the pituitary gland. Put some twos in the chat if you've heard of pituitary gland. If you're very familiar with the pituitary gland, they used to say that the hypothalamus is the top one, and then basically pituitary gland is like the master sergeant. So if you've ever heard of the pituitary gland, put some twos in the chat. Okay, I only got one person that's heard of the pituitary gland. One person. Okay, I got some people on my YouTube here say they know about the pituitary gland as well. Okay. And then a lot of us nowadays, especially I would say within the last 20, 30 years, a lot of us are starting to get familiar with the thyroid. Put a 3 in the chat if you've ever heard of the thyroid gland. I know we got a lot of thyroid diseases, Hashimoto's, Graves' disease. We just got a lot of stuff going on with swollen thyroids, thyroid removal, understanding that the thyroid is connected to menopausal things and you know all this weight loss and all this type of stuff, your body temperature. So the thyroid has been very, very common nowadays. A lot of people are learning about the thyroid. Okay, but the one that I want to talk about today, because we've heard of the pancreas, we know about our gonads, and we know about ovaries and testes, and we know about our adrenals being the officer over the kidneys. Okay, so the one that I want to talk about today, which a lot of people haven't heard about, is your thymus gland. Okay, how many people have heard of the thymus? How many people know people who are dealing with thymus gland issues like thymoma and stuff like that? I had a personal experience because my mother was in the garden gardening, and her thymus gland erupted. First time I ever heard of it. Okay, first time I've ever heard of the thymus gland before. So put some 4s in the chat if you've ever heard of the thymus gland. Put some 4s in the chat if you've ever heard of the thymus gland. Do you know its functions? Do you know what it's all about? I do have a few people that says, yes, I've heard of the thymus gland before. Yes. Okay. So now I'm gonna ask you guys that say you've heard of it. What is its function? What is the thymus gland good for? Because this thymus gland, a lot of people don't know that this is one of the most revered glands in ancient civilization. Okay, especially ancient Egypt and stuff like that. This is one of the most, I know you talk about the pineal, but the thymus gland is one of the most revered glands in ancient civilization. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it's a part of your creator abilities. Okay, the thymus gland sits right here at the heart chakra. Okay, so the heart chakra, the gland for the heart chakra is the thymus gland. So now why is this the most important? Because it's right there at the heart. Okay, it's right there by the lungs. So therefore, it's by the heart, by the lungs. Some people will say because of the heart that this is a fire element, but no, it's by the lungs. So you put it as the air element. Okay, and the air element represents the heart, even though you don't know that. So a lot of people get these chakra lists wrong because they're just looking at stuff and don't really understand what you got it. Again, this is an adept type of thing. It's not something you read. It's something that has to read you. Okay. And if you look at this picture, if I move out of the way, doesn't that look like a human being? That's actually a rose growing from the ground. It's rooted in there. This is the wings or the arms or the leaves of the flower. And then that's the crown, right? That's the rose. You look at these numbers. Yes, it is seven chakras, but they go all the way up to the number 9 because there's no number past 9. Okay, so even your life path numbers 22 and 33 comes down to 4 and 6 air elements. Okay, this is all the stuff that we teach you in the HerbMan school. Okay, so if you guys are interested in learning, go ahead and DM me if you want a payment plan, or go to the website, type in HerbMan School, and go on and jump in today. Okay, you only got 4 more days at that price. All right. So now, as we come into this building, and we understand what we're about to learn today, which is why this thymus gland is so important to the gonads, right? To your reproductive system, your ability to be creative. You'll see that this thymus gland starts to shrink as you get out of your child rearing years. But it also is going to be very, very important to your immune system. Air means immunity. The thymus gland is where your T cells starts to happen. And we're going to talk about all that today, okay? We're going to talk about all that today. But I want you guys to understand something. Today ain't just about information, okay? Today is about remembering how the body actually works. Because the truth is, most of you guys are ignorant to this stuff. And most people are sick not because they lack medicine. They're sick because they lack knowledge about how the body is designed. That's why we teach you this. They also lack knowledge in how to align your body with natural law. So as you see here, we got the times up here, right? So we're going to be talking about how people align them. See, back in the day, they didn't have artificial light. So the sun was the clock to get up. The day was when they should hunt. The sunset was their clock to say sit down somewhere. They didn't have artificial light. So what's happening with us right now is we don't understand the importance of returning back home to natural law. Returning back home, because this is going to make you more of a creator rather than creation. Creation, you just like your baby is very easy to get out of line, okay? And you being the creator, always stay in line, always stay in discipline, always stay in alignment. But the baby sometimes has to learn these things. And so therefore they can get out of alignment. Well, you can't stay a baby all your life. And I don't give a damn if you're 80, 90 years old. If you don't know this information, you still a baby, still wet behind the ears to really what nature wants you to know. And so today we're going to talk about something very ancient. Okay, the owner's manual, the system that we are teaching you guys, it's very, very ancient. I didn't discover this. I'm just the one to reintroduce it to the youth and remember to the old people. That's it. I'm the bridge. But this is something real. And this is something that can help connect you back to what's missing in your life. Okay, your immune system, your emotions, your heart, and your ability to create life. That's what we're talking about today. Your immune system, your emotions, your heart, and your ability to create life. That's what makes you a creator. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. All right. And it's going to come into the form of natural law. It's going to come into the form of the thymus gland, your T cells, and your ability to be fertile as a creator. And we're not just talking about fertile in babies and coming out of your stomach, but we're talking about fertile as in babies coming out of your mind to your ideas, okay? Your health, your wealth. These are all the places you're trying to be fertile in, but you don't know how because you've never been taught how to be a gardener in this natural law, how natural law works. You got to know natural law in order to know how to plant something in this particular paradigm. Mama Nature is very fertile, but you got to copy that. Okay, because if you don't understand this, nothing else will make sense to you. So the first question is, what is natural law? Okay, natural law is defined as the rules that come natural to this particular paradigm. Okay, these are the rules that govern your life. Whether you believe in them or not, they governing your life. Okay, these are something that natural laws you don't vote on. Natural laws you can't negotiate with. Natural laws you cannot escape. You either going to align with them or you will continue to keep experiencing resistance in your life. How many of you guys want to align? Put some ones in the chat. If you want to continue to experience resistance, put some twos. But if you want to align, put ones in the chat. I want to see how many people really actually want to know this information. Otherwise, we can just cancel today and keep on moving and enjoy your Saturday. So we do got some people that actually want to begin to align. Finally, we got people that's actually wanting to be aligned. Not about selling no herbs. It's not about selling no this and no so that. It's about selling yourself back to you. And you are a priceless being. And it's not an amount of money that can actually for you to be bought. So what we're trying to do is sell you back to you by getting you to understand your human design. See, natural law is going to show up as circadian rhythm. But how many of us go to start to rest after 6 p.m.? Most of us, you just getting off work, then you still got to go home and do work. That's disobeying the law of circadian rhythm. How many of us are disobeying the sleep cycles? This is the sleep cycle right here. Most of us, you don't go to sleep until right here. You've already missed a few hours of that sleep cycle. You're disobeying a natural law. And these things are going to start coming into affecting your hormones. How many people dealing with hormonal imbalance that you know of? Breath patterns are natural laws, but you hunched over all day driving the truck and typing on the computer, that is still, that bad posture is breaking a natural law. How many of you guys are able to express your emotions rather than suppress them? Most of us are suppressing our emotions because we don't want them to know. We don't want to even act that way. We don't want to, so we don't want to rock the boat. So we suppress how he made me feel, how she made me feel. That's breaking in the natural law. So I want to teach you guys this today because I need for you guys to understand that this is where the problem lies, in our creativity. Okay? Your body is not broken. Your body is responding to what's going on. It's just that you got to be able to decode the messages. So when somebody tells me that they're sick, what I'm asking you is, or my question is, where are you out of alignment at? And that should be your question to yourself. When people call me about their consultations and they HerbMan or they blueprint that they got, the first thing that I'm listening for is, where is this person out of alignment? Where is this person out of alignment? A lot of you guys want money, you want relationship, you want all this stuff, but you're not in, that's not where you're at in your life. And you wonder why it's messing up. That's not where you at. And you don't know where you at. Do you know where you are? Okay. So I want you guys to repeat after me real quick. My body is not the enemy. Repeat after me really quick, you guys. My body is not the enemy. It is the messenger. My body is not the enemy. It is the messenger. My body is not the enemy. It is the messenger. And you just got to learn how to get the message. Okay? Yes, you got to learn how to get that message, you guys. Got to learn how to get that message. So the modern environment, unfortunately, is anti-natural. Okay? The modern environment that we live in is unnatural, and it's against anything that you're talking about living natural. And that's the biggest problem. I'm going to move out of y'all way and let y'all see this. The modern life today is against you being natural. It's anti-natural. Okay? It's anti-natural. So you got all of this light distortion. Okay? And these, and I want to say, these are your 4 major violations right here. These are your 4 major violations. This light distortion, not following the sunlight with light bulbs and blue lights, keeping you up when you should be. That's a violation. Light distortion, phones at night, no sunlight in the morning. That's a violation. Okay? Light distortion is a violation. I need for you guys to understand that. The next one, not only is this the ecliptic of the sun, right? This is how the sun going doing this thing. This is also a sine wave. This is also a sound wave. Okay, this is a frequency, it's an energy, it's all of that and more, right? If you get out of rhythm, right, what I just told you, you want something, but you don't know where you at, so you become out of rhythm in life, right? If you get out of rhythm, that's a violation. When you can't hear the melody of life, when you can't get on tune or in attunement with life, when you can't tune in, when you can't feel the vibration, when you're not vibing, right? That's a violation. And the reason why it's a violation, you say, well, how is it a violation? Because you're doing the same routine every day. Okay? The same routine every day. It's going to cause you some problems. Right? It's going to cause you some problems. And what you got to understand is that your body already knows how to heal. The human body already knows and already is designed to heal itself. The human system already knows how to regulate. The human being already knows how to create life. So then what's the problem? Anybody know? If the human body already knows how to heal, if the human system already knows how to regulate, if the human being already knows how to create life, then what's the problem? Anybody know? I'm gonna wait on all 100 and whatever y'all. See how smart y'all live. Never said me. But specifically, what's wrong with you? Anybody know the specifics? The goat goddess said obstruction. Obstruction between you and what? I need to know what it is. Out of time. Close but no cigar, Shaheed. Where it's listening to ourselves. Out of alignment with nature. Good, good, good. The problem is not the lack of knowledge. The problem is being disconnected from natural law. Okay? Yes, Capricorn. Yes. Now y'all got it, man. I appreciate y'all for interacting. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So today, what we're going to attempt to do is try to connect you with the three vital things that were never meant to be separated in the first place. We got to be able to get you to understand natural law, understand how to get back on clock with nature. If you're in the East Coast, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, which zodiac sign is the sun in right now? Does anybody know that? Does anybody know that? If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, which sign is the zodiac in? Anybody know that? I am that I am. These are some of my students, you guys, so they're going to get it right. The sun is in Gemini. I am a Gemini. I come on every day between what time, y'all? 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because that's when the sun is in Gemini in the Northern Hemisphere. In the Southern Hemisphere, it's going to be between 4 and 6 p.m. I stay in my place. I stay in alignment. Gemini is about what? Communication. So this is a very good time for me to be in my communication mojo, because I'm getting bagged by something more profound than anything on the planet. So I'm showing you guys how to do this and what it will do for you. Okay, so we got to understand that natural law and put everybody back in perspective. The next thing is understand this thymus gland and why this stuff was so revered here with the thymus and the T cells and the heart center. Another thing is to understand how it's connected to your gonads and reproductive system, to understand why it was so revered as a fertility gland as well. Your ability to create life. And I want you to understand this clearly, that this ain't got nothing to do with philosophy or belief. This is literally how your body works, okay? This is literally how your body works. So again, you don't vote on gravity. You can't debate sunlight. You can't negotiate rhythm. You either get in, you either lay down, or you get out, okay? So these sleep cycles and these hormones and these breath things that we keep teaching y'all about, you get all of this stuff in your owner's manual, and you get it all in your blueprint, and you get it all in the school. Okay, you get all of this stuff to let you guys know that this is the wave of the future. This is it. Okay, all right. So we know that we got the rhythm, okay, that we cannot do, and we also got the polarity that we must understand. Polarity. Okay. You came from the waters into the air. You got masculine and feminine, day and night, intellect, intuition, right? So you got to get the understanding of polarity, because that's the recipe that we use in your owner's manual. We give you the opposites of those things because the opposite is what's missing. If you hell bent on a fire, if you have that fire mentality, then guess what you need? You need some water. If you hell bent on that earth mentality, then guess what you need? Some air. Earth is more of a reliable, more of a planner, structured. So, but sometimes you can get too stubborn and you need to be a little bit more open-minded. That's where the air comes in there to help you. Fire sometimes can burn things out where you can't add air because air expands the fire. Anybody knows, any fireman will know that if air get to the fire, it will spread. So air ain't what you use to put out fire. It's the water. The opposite, polarity. They're using it right in front of your face, but you don't know how to use it in your body and in your life. So then we're also going to teach you about the cause and the effect. Another thing about polarity, the cause and the effect of life, the laws of cause and effect. Balance is also a key point here, because balance, ma'at, is in the middle, representing what? The thymus gland, the heart center. Okay, the law, the real law. Okay, so if you violate rhythm, you're going to feel it in your life. If you violate balance, you're going to feel it in your life. If you ignore cause and effect, it's still going to happen to you regardless. Okay, it's still going to happen to you regardless. So when we're looking at these 4 violations, again, you must understand the light misalignment is very important. There's nervous system overload that we teach you guys about. Always staying stimulated, never being still. That's going to come back to haunt you. Your emotional suppression, that's going to come back to bite you in the wazoo. Okay, you got all this processing with no release is just ridiculous. Okay, this disconnection between your knowing your body signals. You say it's the messenger, but you don't know the body signals, sir. You keep ignoring your hunger. You're ignoring when you're full. You're ignoring your fatigue. You're ignoring elimination. It's going to come back to bite you. You ain't sick because life is hard, man. You just out of sync, because the body knows how to do everything to get you back, but you got to be able to return back. Okay? Everybody understand that? So the thymus gland, let's talk about it real quick. The thymus gland, we know about the natural laws. Now the thymus gland. This is at the center of your chest. Okay. Now you can tell that if I point right here, it's not only at the center of my chest, but it's also representing balance, ma'at. It represents balance and truth. It represents the heart chakra. It represents the positioning at which you're supposed to be in. Remember, I told you guys that if you're in the centered position, that's the best position to access all of your resources, all of the tools, all of the buttons in your spacesuit can be reached in the center. But if you get too far left, my left, your right, if you get too far left, you guys, you can't reach some of the stuff that you got over here for tools and resources. If you get too far right, my right, your left, then that means that I'm too far away from some of my tools and resources that I have on my left side. So the best position to be able to push all these push all these buttons in this spacesuit, the best position to get all of the reachability to my tools and my resources is in the center. Okay? Put some ones in the chat if you guys get that real quick. So that's why this thymus gland, that's why this heart center is very, very important. We know all that stuff, but we don't know about this thymus. Very important. Okay? So the thymus gland is in the center of the chest. It's behind the sternum, right where you feel emotions. Okay? Right where you feel emotions. All right? Its functionality is for your immune system. This is the place for the T cells. Okay? Your T cells are going to be your what? Your soldiers in the army of the Lord. That's how important this thing is. Y'all don't even know. T cell stands for thymus. B cell stands for bone. Now, all of the immune cells come from the bone marrow, but these are going to be trained and stored at the thymus. So it's a B cell that actually gets into the thymus, and we just call them T cells. Okay, let me just tell you that real quick. So you got to think of it like this. Think of it as your body is this kingdom. The T cells are your soldiers. The thymus gland is the training ground. Okay? The T cells are your soldiers. The thymus gland is the training ground. And your blood and your lymph, that's the battleground in which they fight. Everybody get that? Everybody get that? So then you ask yourself, what are T cells? Okay, these are your immune cells. Again, well, what do? They help you with infections. They destroy infected cells. They help coordinate your immune responses. And we'll talk about what those are. Okay, those are your regulatory cells, right? They prevent overreaction. So if you do got overactivity, that's why some of us got autoimmune diseases and allergies and all that type of stuff. Okay. They also remember past threats. So now if you're dealing with any kind of herpes simplex, whether it's what they call that, shingles, chicken pox, herpes simplex 1 and 2, right? You need somebody to remember those things. So you got some memory T cells. Okay. So now when you're talking about all these, the big C and all this type of stuff, this is your immune intelligence center, the thymus gland. So you got to understand that T cells are not just fighters, they are also regulators. Okay? If they're weak, you keep getting infections. If they're overactive, you get an autoimmune issue. How many people dealing with autoimmune issues? How many people dealing with infections? They come and they go. How many people dealing with, if you don't know you're dealing with an infection, you can be dealing with a urinary tract infection. You could be dealing with boils. Boils is a sign that you still are dealing with some kind of infection. It could be staphylococcus. It could be streptococcus. You ever seen somebody dealing with infections come and go? You know somebody dealing with an autoimmune disease, fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis. Yeah, I know y'all have. This is the centerpiece that you don't even know about. And what controls the thymus is going to be what? Because this is very important. You need to know what controls the thymus. Your nervous system. Oh, okay, you're not being regulated. You're under so much stress. That's going to shrink the thymus gland. Okay, it's not just age out that shrinks the thymus gland, but it's chronic stress as well that can also affect the thymus gland. Remember the function that we just talked about. What else? Stress levels. So the nervous system, the stress levels, and your emotional state. That's why this is very important. When we're talking about emotional releases, it's one of the most fundamental principles in your owner's manual and in your blueprint is to know what tendencies emotionally that you deal with that you need to know how to deal with. I didn't put that down here, but that's also here too, right? So adrenals, you're dealing with stress, anxiety. The gonads is going to lead to guilt, unforgiving. You know how we can be unforgiving. Somebody do something to us. The pancreas is going to be about self-control. Okay, these are all of the emotions that you're dealing with that you got to be able to release if you're dealing with them. The thymus is going to represent grief and depression. When you don't have emotional releases, you're either going to be depressive, you're going to be very sad, or you can also be very anxious. Anxiety and depression normally comes from suppressed emotions, okay? The thyroid is going to be about doubt and trust issues, okay? I like to call this the liars, right? The liars, people who lie. or who don't like liars. A lot of people who don't like liars are people who lie themselves. Okay? The pituitary gland is dealing with your ability to be delusional. Don't want to accept reality. Also, you can always feel a sense of loneliness, right? The pineal is going to represent what? Addictive behavior. Okay, addictive behavior. Love what you like what you love, and can't nobody tell you nothing else. Okay, remember that these are the things that can cause us the emotional baggages. So now you got this chronic stress that can also shrink the thymus, right? But calm expands the function. So chronic stress, shrink it. Calm expands the function. How you gonna be calm? Being in rhythm. I want you guys to say this with me as well. Regulation is more important than reaction. I try to teach my class every day I get on this thing. Don't do nothing unregulated. When you wake up in the morning, don't even talk to your spouse. Not because you got stinking breath, because you haven't regulated yet. And toothpaste is not going to regulate you. So it don't matter if you go brush your teeth or not. Don't talk to the spouse unregulated. Don't go in there and talk to the children unregulated. You must do something first to regulate yourself. That's why I teach you about dropping your shoulders. I get in the bathroom, I'm going to look in the mirror. Drop my shoulders, drop my jaws. If I feel my tongue is at the roof of my mouth, I'm going to let it down. Close my eyes. If the kids are already up, I'm going to close my ears. I'm going to breathe in my nose and hum it out. When all you hear is your voice, your breath, your heartbeat, your vibration, that is going to be the best music for your body. It ain't got nothing to do with Usher. It ain't got nothing to do with Tank. It ain't got nothing to do with Tyrese. It ain't got nothing to do with T.I. It ain't got nothing to do with Tiny. It ain't got nothing to do with any outside source. When your body starts to hear your breath, your heartbeat, and your vibration, that is the best music that your body could ever hear. And it will regulate you. And then you go out and meet the family. Then you go out and have the conversations that's necessary for the day. Regulation is more important than reaction, okay? Because when you start to operate under regulation, you can hear better. You start to understand the person better. You start to get the ideas and understand. But when you stressed already, he come on here talking about sex, and he come on here talking about what you did last night. He come on here talking about what he said last night. He come on here talking about anything about last night. And he come in here talking about what you need to do today. You gonna wash clothes today, baby? You gonna clean up today, baby? Can I get me some breakfast today, baby? It's just stress on top of stress on top of stress. Because everybody requesting. So therefore, you must regulate, my brother, before you even question her. When you regulate, my brother, if you regulate, you might serve her instead of asking for her to serve you. If you regulate, you might be like, you know what, man? She sleeps. She seems like she tired. I'm going to do some stuff for her today. If you regulate, you might go in there and tell the kids to shut up first. Hey, man, y'all sit down there. Your mom trying to sleep. If you regulate first, you might even take the clothes downstairs and put them in the washer for. If you regulate first, everybody love daddy breakfast. Men know how to cook breakfast way better than women. Okay? That's just what I heard. If you regulate first, you might go down there and start breakfast. But unregulation, you're trying to be in this routine every day. You're burning her down, you down, and everything else down. And then you wonder why she up here fussing at the children and mad because you in this same routine. Got to break out of it, right? So the heart thymus, the thymus gland, it represents balance, regulation, and harmony. The reproductive system, which is what it's attached to, it represents creation, fertility, and continuation, okay? You cannot create life in a dysregulated body, Or what you will do is create a dysregulated life. So now you got your children coming in here with allergies. They can't even go outside because of whatever you was doing when they were inside the waters. So since we can't go back into the womb, what I want to teach you guys is what they used to do. So when you look at the initiation phase of our ancient cultures, the first thing you needed to do was obviously cleanse, right? You cleanse before you come into these sacred spaces. And since the waters is a sacred space, since the womb is a sacred space, you have to cleanse yourself before that. So you guys that are looking forward to coming into the HerbMan School, I want you guys to get this cleansing before you come into the class, because you're coming back into some acknowledgement. You're coming back into this sacred space, right? So now after you've cleansed, the second thing was darkness. That darkness is night. Remember that this is day and this is night, right? This is spring and summer, so this is air and fire. Okay, this is fall and winter, so this is earth and water. Night. A plant has to have 12 hours day, 12 hours night balance. Same thing that you should, especially if we're only one chromosome away from being a plant. You see? So therefore, this is the system, and this also is the blueprint on what humans should be able to go back to learn how to get back in tune with nature. That's all I'm trying to show you. So therefore, they cleansed themselves first, and then they went into the darkness, night. Water, earth and water is down here. They went back into the night. Water represents the emotions. So once you cleanse yourself physically, earth, cleanse the body, earth is the body, then you also must cleanse yourself of your emotions. That's going into those dark areas, what we call the private parts. The stuff you're doing behind closed doors. You get into the darkness and you rip those things away. Fasting, and just getting away from those things, and then you emotional releasing right here. You went back into the water. See, this is how they go back into the womb. Cleanse the body, and then you go into the darkness space where you're without everything, including these emotions, and you get them out. So in old time, they went into sarcophaguses, or they went into these dark temples and dark spaces, and they had to stay there. Almost like going into the hole in jail terminology, right? Cleanse first, then you go into this isolation so that you can really cleanse the internal parts, the emotions. Then you get reintroduced to the day or to the air. When you get reintroduced to the air, this is the light phase, right? But the air must come first. Remember, you went from the waters of the womb into the air. It's the same thing. Cleanse the body, go into the sacred spaces of your emotions and get rid of that type of stuff. Then you get reintroduced back into the air, right? Getting that sunlight, and then you get integrated. The 4 phases of initiation. When you get reintroduced back to that light, then now you start to understand who you are. You start to get, okay, so now I relinquished the programming, and then I came back out with the original programming that I'm really designed with, right? So now you know that you should be a teacher. You know that you should be a preacher. You know that you should be a this or that. And then you start to do it, and then you start to integrate yourself back into society, doing the right things, staying in the right mind frame and in the right understanding. Because if you don't do this, then stress is going to do two. When you're unaligned, you guys, stress is going to kill you. And stress is going to do 2 things. It's going to weaken your immune system. So at some point, you're going to get sick. And it's going to lower your fertility. Fertility doesn't just mean a baby out your stomach, but now your creativity is being lowered. Now your health is being lowered, and you can't figure out how to get your health back right. You can't grow that within you. Remember that a teacher's true job is not for have their students like them. It's to birth whatever God gave you. It's to allow you to understand how to bring it to full term. My job as a teacher is to help you birth that which is within you. Okay? That's my job as a teacher, to help you birth that which is within you. And at the root of it all, we got this dysregulation because we're not understanding this information. And the body won't reproduce in survival mode. No idea, no health issue, no real baby, no nothing. It won't reproduce when it's in survival mode. It only will reproduce when safety and balance has been reestablished. So that's why the owner's manual for that little funky measly $50 is the best deal on the planet, because this is the best health assessment ever created. And ancient systems understood this reset process you got to go through, this initiatory process. It was a biological reset to them, and it's going to be a biological reset for you. Initiation is not about spiritual performance. This thing is biological, man. Okay? It's biological. You got to cleanse the body. You got to release the emotions. You got to calm the system, the air element, and you got to activate the energy within you. So crying and all this stuff that we teach you guys, it's important. Movement and sound is important. Silence and breath and stillness is important. It's non-negotiable. Sunlight, purpose, clarity, it's important. It's non-negotiable. And that's your entire system that I'm teaching you about. Okay? So in the morning, you need good sunlight, good water, good breathing techniques. In the midday, you need good food, real food. Okay? Let me put this up here, you guys. I'm gonna show y'all a little receipt real quick. You guys keep tapping, I'm gonna keep talking. You keep tapping, I'm gonna keep talking. Let's get us up to 100,000 likes during the live broadcast. I appreciate you all thus far. Okay, but let's look at this real quick. Okay, the violations. Okay, if you're not sleeping at night and you're staying up late scrolling or watching TV, that can lead to hormonal imbalance. That's a violation. That's a violation. You're supposed to be eating natural foods, but if you start eating processed foods, you're gonna get inflammation. That's a violation. Okay, you're supposed to be eating natural foods and whole foods. If most of your food is prepackaged processed foods, no wonder you got inflammation, because you violated. You're supposed to emotional release. There's no problem with expressing yourself, but when you start to suppress the true things you got within you, no wonder you're dealing with depression and anxiety, because that's a violation. If you find that you are in the house most of the time, if you in your, most of us jump in our car from our garage. So from your garage to the car, from the car to the store, the job, from the store, the job, back to the car, back to the garage, back to the house. If you find that you're not getting enough natural sunlight and you're doing all of this indoor living, then no wonder your butt got low energy, you're feeling fatigued. No wonder you got circadian rhythm problems and sleep disruption problems, allergies, and et cetera, okay? Because you violating. You violating. All right? Now, how many people done broke the natural law? Go on and put some ones in the chat if you done broke the law. I ain't talking about man's law. See, that's why I wanted to put this out here, because this is the difference between being a creator versus creation. But see, God ain't gonna lock you up in the way that you think. Nature doesn't lock you up in the way that you think. But when you're talking about your creative juices, your ability to have this family, your ability to have this money, your ability to be able to have this little health that you're looking for, that's your sentences. Come on, somebody. Yes, sir. Those are those sentences. Oh, you want to keep breaking natural law? Yeah, you ain't gonna live long. You want to keep breaking natural law? Ain't nobody gonna give you no money. You want to keep breaking natural law? Ain't nobody gonna give you the family that you desire. You'll keep going through relationship woes. You'll keep going through financial woes, and you'll keep going through health woes, because those are the sentences for breaking natural law. And you can go through those for a lifetime. Nature give out lifetime sentences on those. You will never see no money. And I'm talking about generations of your family has been broke financially. Generations of your family. This high blood pressure, high blood sugar, hereditary, because you keep breaking natural law. That's a sentence that's going through your generation. Come on, somebody. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? That ain't nobody had a successful relationship. Everybody done got a divorce. Everybody done got children out of wedlock. This, that, and the third. Is because that is a natural, you breaking natural law that is going through your bloodline. Everybody don't break the laws of man. But a lot of us are breaking the laws of nature. This all in the $50 information. I know it. I'm giving it away. But that's the point. That's the point. Whether you're in Asia, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in Africa, South America, North America, or Europe, you deserve this information. You deserve it. And it's got to be accessible. It needs to be affordable, but we know that it's effective. So we're not coming in here with this, oh, this big old whoa, and we know that it's fire, and therefore you need to pay me $1 million for it. It's worth that. But you the one who got to do all of this work. You the one who got to do all the work. So for $1 million, I expect for you to expect me to do everything. But when it's you that's got to do everything, why in the world would I charge you all that money? When you got to be the one to do 99.9% of it. You get what I'm trying to say? For $1 million, you're going to want me to do everything. But for $50, and it's still $1 million system, now you see you got to do 999,950 of it, right? Yeah, you got to do $999,950 worth of this. You got to do. This ain't something you learn, you guys. This is something that you return to. Healing is not about an addition. Healing is not about adding more to your life. It's just simply about removing the interference from you seeing this as truth. Removing the obstruction for you being able to see the path that you're on. A lot of us are walking this path in the veil. So it's very easy as you climb this hill of life with a veil in front of you to trip up and be Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall and fall down. Now you're rolling down the hill. See, you in your veil. So you're tripping going up, you're rolling coming down. Come on, somebody. You're tripping going up and you're rolling coming down. And I showed you guys yesterday that modern life keeps your body slowing down and your mind speeding up. That means that you are double-minded. That means that you are divided within. Modern life keeps your body slowed down and your mind speeding up, ripping you apart. If it slows the body down and speeds the mind up, it is ripping you apart. Any questions? When your heart gets regulated, you can create again. When the body gets aligned, you're living again. I just want you to understand that you're not broken, my people, but you do need to return back home. I simply want you to understand that as creation, yes, you're going to make mistakes because you're learning. The baby is learning, but you can't stay a baby all your life. Because we know that as the baby learns, it touched the stove, that burns. Are you ever going to learn? Are we ever as human species going to learn so we can get back to our creator within us? I call it the dummy God. You ain't no demi, you the dummy God. That's a God that doesn't know how to activate the God within them. Okay? We can't continue to be dummy gods. Any questions about this subject matter, you guys? All right, we got about 44 more minutes or 54 more minutes. I might not stay with you that long, but I definitely wanted to make it strong. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you guys for coming on, allowing us to be able to teach you that this is the look, not trying to put nothing on religion. This is the Son of God right here. Before they had a Bible, this was the Son of God. This is why they built the temples. This is why they built everything, giving reverence to the Son. You see? So that's all we're trying to do is put you back on track with how they created life back then. How did they get us to this point? They wasn't following the clock on the wall. They was following the clock in the sky. Uh-huh. And you must do the same thing, my brothers and sisters, in order to regulate yourself. Get back outside. We were made for outdoors. Okay? A lot of us are dealing with allergies and immune system issues because you're just not simply outside. You got vitamin D issues. How can you have vitamin D issues? Because that's a tall tale sign that you are doing indoor living. When we do indoor living, we get in-house diseases. Somebody put in the chat, in-house diseases. Okay, when you're out of your element, then you get the element of being of some other stuff that you ain't got no business getting. Yes, we're all a smelting pot and a melting pot of human beings now, but now we're starting to get diseases that you wouldn't normally be getting. Because you in the house, you're not getting none of this stuff outside, which makes you better. You talking about we the children of the Son, we the children of God. Then that's outside. That's outside, y'all. You see? And now you in here getting in-house diseases that's ravaging you more than anybody else. White folk be outside. Even though they might be prone to skin diseases, white people stay outside. They know how to be out there in the farm. They know how to be out there in the mountains. They know how to be out there in the snow. They know how to be out there when it rains. They know how to be out there when it's cold. They gonna be outside. Just had this conversation yesterday. We must get back to outside. Our grandparents knew it. Yes, that's what I keep trying to teach people. You eating pig and pork. You eating beef and chicken. But you ain't doing what they used to do to sweat it out. That's another part of this that we teaching you guys about that water. That water element is sweating. It ain't just putting in water. It's also sweating it out. You got to sweat. You got to sweat. Okay, you got to cry. That's number 2. Crying ain't a bad thing. Crying is a release. Sweating is a release. Crying is a release. And then you can drink more once you release. But see, you putting it in, but you got to get it out. When the last time somebody sweat? When the last time you cried? And you don't got to cry tears of sorrow. You can cry tears of joy. When I'm on this thing and I'm tearing up, I ain't crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I'm glad that I was getting this opportunity. I'm glad that I'm given the opportunity to affect the world, not just my children, but your children, not just my friends, but your friends, not just my family, but your family, not just my people, but your people. Man, do you know how great it feels to have impact beyond just the folk that know you? That's gratefulness. I can cry for gratefulness. I can cry out of appreciation. I can cry tears of joy, cry because I've got gratitude. I can cry. It make you want to cry sometimes. And I ain't never been less of a man for it. It's a release. You so hung up on what a men and women goals are that you what men and women roles are that you really don't know what the goal is. You want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, but nature is just saying be a man or a woman first. Know the role of a man and a woman before you start knowing the roles of doctors, lawyers, and computer techs and sports athletes. And the real agenda is just be that which I designed you to be. This rose can't be nothing but a rose, but you want to go over here and be all these other things before you reach the understanding of what a man really is. A man masters outside along with his woman. I used to watch this African show. They were talking about the baobab tree or the baobab tree or whatever you want to call it, right? And so this brother was growing baobab trees because there was a shortage of them. And he had an older son. This was an older gentleman who had an older son that was helping him too. Then the older son got a little baby, the little baby boy. Little baby boy ain't going to school as the education building, but he getting up every day walking with granddaddy. Granddaddy was the elder. So granddaddy got to go to elder meetings. Also, he got to look after what the business is for the baobab trees. He got to look at what son doing and provide help for son. But the little joker just following granddaddy around. He don't say nothing. But what is he doing? He going to school. He learning how to be a man. His daddy is a baobab tree grower. His granddaddy is a baobab tree grower. So he's learning exactly what he needs to learn. Why you gonna learn to be a truck driver for? But we ain't in truck driving. We growing trees that are indigenous, but also is blessing nature. Why do something different? How many of y'all got how many of y'all got children in your family that don't want to do nothing you doing? That's a travesty. Got children in your family that don't want to be like you at all. They want to do the opposite of you do. If you an AT&T worker, they want to swim. If you was a swimmer, they want to play tennis. If you was a football player, they want to sing. If you was a singer, they want to be an artist. You got these children these days that don't even revere you to be like you. That's a travesty. And the reason why is because they spent more time watching others than watching you. Okay? All right? I don't want to stab y'all too much, but you do need to get a whooping in the spirit. Okay? Just a little bit. You do need to get a whooping in the spirit just a little bit. In-house diseases, we are outdoor animals. What did you learn? Yeah, you learn everything from the animals. Frog, that's what we did. We learned what to eat from the animals, and that's what I'm saying about returning back to these natural laws. So now at 6 a.m., from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., you need to be rising up out of that bed. You don't need to be sleeping past 8 a.m., okay? So from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. is wake up, all right? From 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., you need to wake up. Don't sleep past 8 a.m. From 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., anytime in between that, you don't need no alarm clock. You need to wake up. That's the sunrise. Sunrise. You want to follow the sun of God? Then the sun rises between 6 to 8. Follow him. Okay? Now, after that, from 8 to 10 is Taurus. That's your throat. If you feel like eating breakfast or whatever, you should eat between the times of 8 to 10 a.m. That's it. You got 2 earth signs during the day. So I'm going to teach y'all about how to stay in alignment. 8 to 10, if you're going to eat, you eat between 8 to 10 a.m. 10 to 12, that's not an eating time. That's an air element. That's Gemini. That's me. We communicating. We talking. We at work by now. And we're communicating with our co-workers, and we do whatever we got to do to get our day going. Now you're going to get to lunchtime. This is where you get the misnomer. From 12 to 2, what sign is the sun in on the northern hemisphere? From 12 to 2 o'clock, what sign is this in the northern hemisphere? Anybody knows? If you know zodiac, it's just the next sign from Gemini. If you know the zodiac, it's the next sign from Gemini. So you got Aquarius, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Thank you, L mindset. Now in the northern hemisphere, if what is Cancer? Is it a fire sign, an air sign, a water sign, or earth sign? What is Cancer's? From 12 to 2, the sun in the northern hemisphere is in Cancer. Thank you. Cancer is a water sign. So when you at lunch break from 12 to, how many people have lunch break between 12 and 2? Put some ones in the chat. If you're having lunch break between 12 and 2, put a 1 in the chat. I just want to see how everybody's scheduled. That's all. Okay. So normally you would eat then, but that ain't what the sun doing. The sun is in water. So this is your water break. Don't eat at 12 to 2. Drink and hydrate. I eat every 12 in the afternoon and 6 in the evenings. Okay, you still out of alignment. 13 Magnum. That's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for people who think just like you, who think they spiritual and that they know, and they're fasting and they're intermediate and they're, in their conscious movement. You're still out of alignment with nature. So that's who I'm doing it for. People who think they know and the people who really don't know. Your lunch break is a water break. I know what y'all be trying to talk about with this intermittent fasting and I don't eat, you don't supposed to eat, you're supposed to break your fast. Boy, stop. You do it the natural laws. Okay? So from 12 to 2 is water. So if you want to break your fast at 12, then it's going to be a water break. The first thing you're going to get intake is water. Okay? The only next time that you got to put something in your mouth right now is from 2 to 4. I mean, from 4 to 6, Virgo. Virgo represents the stomach. Okay? Virgo represents the stomach, right? So you can put something in your stomach from 4 to 6. But you see that brother even said 6 p.m. and after, you out of alignment. So from 4 to 6 p.m. or when it's I think when it's spring, when it's winter, it may be from 6 to 8. This will change due to the seasons. But from 4 to 6 to 6 to 8, this is where you would eat food. But you got to understand when the sun is going down. So most of the time, the sun goes down between 4 and 6 during the summer months, and 6 to 8. 6 to 8 during the summer months, I think that is. And then 4 to 6 during the winter. I might be wrong or misconstrued. I got them opposite or whatever. But y'all get the it must be in Virgo. And then you can eat right here. Okay? But it changes with the seasons. You see? Now, when the sun sets at 6 p.m., or either going to be 6 p.m. or 7, one or something, it's going to be between 6 and 8. The sun is going to set. What should you be doing? When the sun set, what should you be doing? You should be starting to get everything completed within yourself. Yes, thank you, Gregory. You said it right. You should be setting yourself. Okay? The day must start to get down. You can't keep doing that. "13 Madam, you out of alignment, brother. I don't care what you say. You out of alignment. I don't care what you say. I've been doing this longer than you. That's why you on my show. I ain't on your show. Okay? That's why I'm gifted to teach this, and I haven't heard of you. Okay? So sometimes you just gotta, when you come to somebody's class, you just gotta learn. You're not the teacher, you're the student. That's why your responses are not being shown, man. You see what I'm saying? Unfortunately. But we're not gonna block you. Okay? I don't block you because even Judas was sitting at the table with Jesus. So you gotta eat too. This table is prepared for you too, 13 Magnum. Okay? It's prepared for you too. Okay? We need you. Everybody needs a backstabber. Everybody needs a hater in order for them to be motivated. But it doesn't matter because you got to eat too. You need this too. So don't worry about it. We'll never block you. All right? We'll never block you. But you must understand the real truth of what you got going on. Okay? And I can tell you've been reading books, but you haven't been really doing this stuff. And I don't fault you for what you know, because that's what you felt you need to read, and you felt, but go and look this up somewhere, 13 Magnum. Go and open up a book that's got this in it. Okay? And then you can come back to me and tell me what book you found it in. But you can't get this from a book. This comes from my mind. It comes from my heart. It comes from God. This comes from nature. This is something that I was given. You know, you're regurgitating up the books you read. I'm not. I'm writing the book for you to read. And when you become a book writer of what God put you through, and you become the progenitor of that information, everybody don't get to do this. Everybody don't get to create. Some people are just regurgitating up other creations information. I was given the opportunity, brother, to create. Okay, to create. All I did was break this down. I was given an opportunity to create, my brother. Everybody don't get that. I'm sorry, and I apologize, man. That's the difference between me and you. But everybody don't get that opportunity. Most of us, 99% of us, are regurgitators of somebody else's experience. And that's fine, because that information, if it's got some validity to it, it can help. But some of us came here to create the information. Okay? I'm sorry and I apologize, okay? But it's still for you too. Now go find somebody else to play with. I don't play with other folks' children, all right? Now, understanding that this is the time for setting, you're going to start to set your life, right? So I go to bed around 8, 9 o'clock, I'm gone. In Africa, we go to bed around that time, and here I'm gone. My mama came in the house yesterday, around about 7 o'clock, I was already in the bed. You see what we're saying? So it doesn't matter where you at. It doesn't matter where I'm at. This is what we're trying to implement in our lives. Why? Because it creates the ability to be able to be a creator. Then you get more creativity. Then you get more ideas, and then you get more thoughts. Then you get more of the stuff that you need to be remedies to your situation. Okay? Thank you, Pastor. So 8 to 9 p.m. my way out of regulation. I know for women this is a big thing, but remember I told you guys that circadian rhythm and that sleep leads directly to hormonal imbalance. So I used to tell women, even when I had my herb shop here in Atlanta, I told them all the time, I can give you hormonal herbs, but if you can't get no sleep, it ain't gonna work. It absolutely will not work. They can give you hormonal medications all they want to. If you can't sleep as a woman, nothing will work. Okay? Because the women must sleep, but we've been taught that the women stay up at night. So most women in most relationships, even when she up. You done knocked him out. You know what I'm saying? You done fed him. You done did what you need to do for him, and he gone. He's snoring already. You up there watching TV and everything until you go to bed. Come on, man. You can't do that. All right? And then next thing you know, you got fibroids. Next thing you know, you got thyroid issues. Next thing you know, you're dealing with breast cancer. Next thing you know, you're dealing with PCOS. Next thing you know, you're dealing with endometriosis. Next thing you know, you're dealing with irregular cycles. Next thing you know, you're dealing with heavy cycles. You don't really understand what's going on. Yes, sir. Next thing you know, now he want a baby, but now y'all got problems having babies, right? Because the rhythm is off. What do we do between 2 and 4? Nothing. You chilling. This is just a regular day. 2 to 4 is Leo. So you should be at your very best between 2 to 4 p.m. That's Leo. Leo is about attention. It's about playfulness. It's about skills. It's about you just being at your, that's at your best before you clock out, before you rest, right? That's most of our 2 to 4. You finna get off work. So if you look at this, I woke up, I ate breakfast, I communicated with the fam, with the village, with the work that we need to be done. Okay, we out here doing the work. That's the sun right there in noon. Ain't nobody need to be eating when the sun beating down on their head. So you go take your little water break. Okay, so you look at this as village life, right? We ate breakfast. We figured out what we need to do for the day. Now we walking through in the sun. We walking to the water hole. We walking to go hunting. We walking and all this. And now it done got hot out here. At noon, it done got hot. So we took us a little water break. All right. Then we get back to what we need to be doing and head back home. Okay. So this is the end of our day. We get back home. Then you start to process what you hunted for, right? You hunted, you gather. So by the time you get back there, that's the processing. By between 4 and 6, you done ate. And then now the sun go down and it's time to shut it down. So from 6 to 8, now you with your wife. That's Libra. That's relationships, partnerships. So the 6 to 8, that's when you should be doing your little thing right there. If not that, then Scorpio is 8 to 10. That's your little love session right there. And then from 8 to 10 being the love session, then you can go ahead and go to sleep. And then boom, 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 bada, bada, boom. You wake back up and do it all over again. Or you can just be able to say, boom, when you're looking at sleep, you guys, sleep is a 3-part harmony. You got to rest, you got to relax, and then sleep will come. Just jumping into sleep is a lot of reasons why folks can't go to sleep. So you want to rest. That's that sun setting. You want to rest, relax, and then sleep automatically comes. Whatever time this is right here. Okay? So resting. So back in the ancient time, they used to call this westing, right? So when you was laid to rest, they call it westing. So they wasn't calling it rest in peace. They was calling it west in peace, right? Westing, W-E-S. When the sun sets to the west, you're going to your westing place. Westing, W-E-S-T-I-N-G. They didn't say rest in peace. Westing, okay? When you went to the west. So understanding that, again, rest, relaxation leads to sleep. Yep, rest, relaxation leads to sleep, all right? Any other questions? Thank you for the 137,000 on here. Any other questions? 8 to 10 a.m. 8 to 10 a.m. for breakfast. Waking up at 4 a.m., that's a little early. That's a little early because 4 a.m. is basically the time where you're starting to do your digestive processes, So that's a little early. I mean, because when you wake up, that means you stimulate it and you just stop the digestive processes. So, I mean, I would say if you do wake up, unfortunately, we wake up at one time. If you do wake up, it doesn't mean get up. Okay. If you do wake up at 4 a.m., it doesn't mean get up. So maybe you can just sit there in the bed. If you are really fully awake at 4 a.m., maybe you could just sit there and just meditate. Okay. Maybe you can just do that. I have to wake up at 4 a.m. to work at 5 a.m. Yeah, that's an out of alignment schedule. That don't mean you gotta quit your job. We're just calling it what it is, love and life. Okay, you have a job that's gonna keep you out of alignment. Gonna mess up your circadian rhythm. I'm a math and science teacher, so to have to be there at 7:30 a.m. That's fine. I'm talking about waking up between 6 to 8. As long as you're waking up between 6 and 8, you're getting up. So that 6 to 8 is getting up. The sun rise out of the bed. Okay. If you're at 4 a.m., if you just woke up and whatever, you can lay there and meditate. But between 6 and 8, I mean, get up. You see, you got to get up out of the bed. How to not to wake up though, that's the real deal. You got to be tired. In order for you not to wake up, you got to be tired. When you look at your children in the morning, you see how dead sleep your children be? Why? Why is the children so hard to get up out of the bed, y'all? Anybody know? Why is the children so hard to get up out of that bed? Does anybody know? You have to just, even if you pull them up, they just, yes, thank you. They're exhausted. You guys are living indoor lives. An indoor life won't make you exhausted. So you got to be able, now they're not going to bed too late. You can have that child go to bed at 7, 8 o'clock. They're still going to not want to get up. If y'all children to stand up all night, then that's y'all fault. My children don't stay up all night and they still be dead in the morning. It's because they're exhausted. Yes, it's because they're exhausted and they full. My children, you can still make them go to bed at 8 o'clock at night, and they still, you got to pull them up by one arm. He's still hanging like this because he didn't stay up late, but he played hard in the time he had. He played hard. He ate good in the time that he had. So it's not about standing up late. A lot of you guys, children that stand up late, that is the culprit. But I'm telling you that even if you laid that baby down at the right times, which is, we don't sleep past 8 o'clock in my house. Okay, around about 8 o'clock, we gone. Now, sometimes on the weekend, you can give a little leeway because it's the weekend, especially for the kids. But the reality of it, Monday through Friday, school time, all that type of stuff, 8 o'clock, man, we down. Okay, we down and out. And them kids are still going to be tired. Normal activities, life back in the day, yeah, they play themselves out. Okay, they play themselves out. So my point to you is that you got to do the same as an adult. Okay, a lot of us go to bed with a lot of energy. You need to be exasperated your energy. Most of us are eating at what time at night? What time that most of us eat our dinner? Anybody know? What time does most of us eat our dinner? When I meet your mama, hold on. When I meet your mama, 13 Madden, then I start teaching the proper thing. 8 to 9. Freebird said, I'm embarrassed to say. 7, I eat at 5:30. I have my daughter's bed at 7 p.m. daily, so I will have time to myself. Cool. Shahid said, too late. I just wanted to know. So most of us are eating food around about 8 to 10, right? Some people say 6 and 7. Some people said 10:30. Okay. 4 to 5. Okay, good. Cereal around 10. You snack around that late. Between the hours of 6 to 8. That's okay. That's all right. 8 o'clock. Dinner done at 3:30. Dishes washed by 5. That's 5. 8 to 10. Yeah, that's most of the time. My job exhausts me. Sometimes I don't eat dinner, only breakfast. That's good. Okay. All right. Yeah, you don't if you don't honor, I won't. That's what we do. If you don't honor, I won't. Okay, so 8. So most of us are eating between 8, 6, let's say 6 to 10. Most of us are eating between 6 and 10 for the majority of us. We eat between 6 and 10 p.m., right? So now it's all about the foods that you do eat. So what you just did was when you do eat your dinner, what you did was put hella energy in the body. Okay? That dinner is going to be energy, right? You just ate energy. Now let me ask you this. How long is it before you sleep after the meal? Hour, 30 minutes? Y'all let me know. How long is it after you eat the energy do you go to sleep? Hour, 30 minutes? You fall asleep on the couch right after you eat? Be real with me. How long is it after you process this energy do you go to sleep? Okay, some people say 2 hours, 4 hours later, 3 hours. Azuri is the only one telling the truth, so about an hour. No, I ain't asking what you're supposed to do. I'm talking about what you actually do. An hour, 2.5 hours. Okay, 2 to 3 hours, free bird. So, okay. Now for women, it might be a little longer because y'all are sleeping later. Okay, y'all are sleeping later. 30 minutes to an hour. Come on, Tyler. Come on, be real with me. There we go. Minute man, an hour. Come on. There we go, minute man. Yes, sir. I like to hear the truth. Okay. So now most of us are sleeping within the hour after dinner. After we eat, for men, at least most men, within the hour. For women, because y'all stay up, I'll give y'all 2 hours. That's not enough time to process that energy. So you went to sleep on this energy without utilizing it. That's why you ain't that tired. Okay? That's why you ain't that tired. Now, the brother who's going to bed an hour, and I'm going to tell you how you know. The brother who's going to bed within the hour, going to wake up around 3 to 4 to use the bathroom. Pee, boo-boo, whatever. Okay? Most of the brothers who go to bed within the hour after the meal is going to wake up between, I'm going to say 2 and 4. I'm sorry, we're going to put 2 and 4. Not 3 and 4. We're going to put 2 and 4. 2 and 4 a.m. they're going to wake up. And this is where he want to make love. This is where he want to go pee. This is where he want to go use the bathroom. Why? Because he finally burnt off the little stuff. Or he's trying to burn off the energy. But my point is that you done gave him a heavy meal that took that long, maybe from 6 to 8 to 2 to 4. Now they up. Azur said between 2 and 4 like clockwork. Yeah, that's it. So you see what I'm saying? So that's the reason for that wake up. But again, that's out of rhythm. Okay? That's out of rhythm. Regardless if you do it or not, that's fine, but it's out of rhythm. Yeah, so women go to bed a little later. Okay? So that's why by the time he wake up between 2 and 4, the woman don't want to be bothered because she probably just went to sleep at 11. You know, most women go to sleep between 10 and 12. Right? So between 10 and 12, especially if they're watching TV or if they on that phone, they may stay up to 12 to 1. You see what I'm saying? Just to get time to themselves. So boom, they up 12 to 1, and you finna wake up at 2 to 4 talking about you want something. So you'll see that the men wake up early at the night, but the women can wake up later in the day. So for most women, they would rather wake up around 9 o'clock, 9, 10-ish. Anything before 9 o'clock, a woman feel like that's too early. So you got women waking up later in the day, and you got men waking up early in the morning. Signs of out of rhythm. Okay? Signs of out of rhythm. Well, remember that you're not looking at the clock on the wall. You're looking at the clock in the sky of real motivation. Okay? Remember that I'm just using these times as universal times, right? We know that the sunrise is going to rise between 6 to 8 a.m., regardless of where you at on the earth. That's normally the sunrise, okay? Now, sometimes in the southern hemisphere, it may rise up between 4 and 6. I know when I'm in South Africa, sometimes around about 4:30, 5 o'clock, it'll already be day outside. You see? So but see, I'm not going off the clock on the wall. I'm going off of the clock in the sky. You see what I'm saying? You can look at the clock on the wall to see what time it is, but the reality of it is that when light starts to peek through that window, yeah, I can look at it and say, oh, damn, it's 5 o'clock down here in South Africa, and it's already light. That's what happens down there. But that's fine. But I'm really actually going off of the clock in the sky. Okay? Right? So not the clock on the wall, the clock in the sky. It'll start giving you the indicator of what it is that you're doing. So I don't want y'all to stay stuck on this like that. But at the end of the day, you start to look at the sun outside and you'll see what it does. You'll see the time frame. Appreciate this learning. Yes, yes. Anybody else? Man, y'all go show 13 Magnum Opus some love because he was my hater for the day, and it wouldn't be a show without him. So y'all go show him some love after the show, you guys. I appreciate you, 13 Magnum, for being the motivator for the day. I gotta have you. Like I said, I love me a little Judas. You know, Judas and Jesus were best friends. Judas and Jesus were best friend out of everybody. Okay, and he still stabbed him in the back. That let you know how much love I got for you, 13 Magnum. I don't care how much you try to put in these comments, man. I appreciate you. You made the show today. I made my haters my motivators. I love the debate. Okay. Yeah, I'm stubborn because I'm not gonna listen to nobody talking slick, brother. Especially when you don't know what you're talking about. I've devised a business off of this, man. Not just here on. We not just do TikTok, brother. I've got my own herb shop, okay, in the community. You understand me? So I can't listen to somebody if you haven't done what I've done, or if it hasn't gotten you where, if your theory hasn't gotten you at least beyond me, then or where I'm at. You know, I don't know where you work at, but I don't this is what I do for a living. You see, so it's very hard for me to subscribe to somebody else's train of thought when you know I'm doing good, brother. I mean, I know you probably don't know me or nothing like that, man. But you know, we in the studio, pimp. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing good, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. You know, y'all really don't really be knowing, you know, a lot of little stuff about me because it ain't about materialism. You feel what I'm saying? It ain't about materialism, brother. But I'm just trying to show you that, you know, this your gift will make room for you. And I think a lot of people regurgitate up other folks' stuff. I done read a lot of books, so I know exactly what you're talking about. But do you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? That's the key. I know exactly what you're talking about, but you don't know what I'm talking about. So you debate it, you know, and that's fine. And what I'm telling you to do is when it's your gift, sometimes nature and God will give you a new thing, something new that you got to be the one to teach the people about. You understand me? So that's all I was trying to say. You know, whether you're a sister or whatever you are, I don't know if you're a brother or a sister, but I was just trying to let you know that God will give you a new thing, man. And that new thing, brother, will take you far. Sister, it will take you far. So, you know, regurgitated up information, I know all that stuff you're talking about. All that black stuff, all the wrong timing, time ain't real, all that stuff. We know all that stuff, man. We know all that stuff, okay? But what is real? Can you really help people heal themselves with your knowledge? Can you really help people get to where they're going to get to? Well, I've been able to help myself. My badge, my little Boy Scout badge doesn't come from healing other people. My little healer's badge come from healing me. I healed myself. I healed my own life. And I've been walking in this for a long time. I'm 47 years old this year. Okay. Thank you for not running from your calling. Oh yeah, I can't. Shit, and look, I got tired. I was running from it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was running from it, but I got tired. Yeah, but you shouldn't be opposing 13 Magnum. That's the point. You came in with the opposing. A teacher shouldn't do any. Why would you oppose? Why would you come in with an opposing spirit, 13 Magnum? See, you gotta watch what you're saying to me because I'm very, very keen. Okay. You come into a class with an opposing spirit, that means that you didn't come in there with a listening ear. I'm just using your words. You the ops. You called yourself the ops. You just sat there and called yourself the ops, my brother. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that to yourself. You 76, do you got issues? You got diseases? Or are you a healthy man at 76 years old? I respect my elders now. I didn't know you were that old. But do you got any diseases? Well, he just said he was the op, so now we know why he came in with an opposing. I want to oppose you, my brother. I want to be your Judas. In other words, he want to have a part in the journey, and I don't mind that. Nah, he ain't stealing no energy, man. I love it. I'm about to get off here anyway. You know, when my folks know when I start talking like this, it's over with. It's over with. When I start talking to y'all like this here, it's over with. Now he's 76, you guys, so we're gonna give him a little break. You know, we'll give him a pass because he's 76. So he's lived a little bit and he's learned a little bit, but I think he's read a whole lot. He's been doing a lot of reading. You're a 76-year-old student, 13 Magnum. That's what you are. You still a 76-year-old student, a baby. And that's what I said when I first started this. And that's no problem with that though. You're not the only one. We got 80 something year old people that I deal with every day. So you're still a 76-year-old baby, right? And so what we want you to do is learn how to grow up in this thing. Because here's the thing. It ain't about being a baby in reality. Spring is infantry. Okay? Spring is infantry. All right? Spring is infantry. Summer is adolescence. Fall is adulthood. And winter is your elder statesman, okay? Spring is infantry. So you can be 30, 40 years old, but you're going through an infant stage. You could be 60 and 70 years old. You're going through an infant stage. Now, 13 Magnum. I know you ain't going to do this, but you say you 76. Just give me a birthday. Let's see where you at. Give me your birthday, 13 Magnum. I bet you won't do it. But if you do it, I'll do you. Okay? If you do it, I'll do you. All right? Just give me your birthday. Yeah, KK said do his birthday. See, that's all I need. And we'll show you guys exactly why some of us are just not arriving yet. So that means that you can have a baby at an elder statesman, and you can have a full-grown person at an infantry stage. Babies can come in the wintertime of life, and they can be more mature internally. They can be more mature internally because of the things that they're going through, right? You ever seen they say, but you got an old soul? That's an elder statesman, even though that baby little. Love and Light, we got the school available. The school starts April the 4th, okay? If you want to learn this stuff, we're going to teach you from the rooty to the tootie. All of this stuff right here, starting April the 4th. Right now, we have an early bird special. If you're willing to get in, it's a year-long course, okay? I'm going to teach you a year-long course of how to do this stuff and how to be able to be effective for yourself, your family, and your community, all right? So just DM me if you want to get a payment plan. If you just want to jump in, go to the website, okay, and go and put in HerbMan School. I told y'all, he was going to ghost us. I see, that's how you do it, I know 76 years old, he's just a reader. He's not an initiator of anything. Okay? 13 Madam, give us your birthday. Everybody want to know your birthday, man. So keep doing what you're doing, brother. I know, man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Oh, yeah, they won't let us see too much. Sometimes they blocking you out. I guess that might be my moderator there, 13 Madam. But you see my people, they looking for your birthday. He ain't going to give it to us, y'all. He say he's 76, so just let him be 76. He ain't going to give it to us. But understand that these are times of consciousness, okay? So for me, I'm in the fall. So that's my adulthood, right? I'm not in my elder statesman, but I am in my adulthood of understanding. Somebody say he's scared. Nah, you know how folk is. Sometimes when you win, you won. Ain't no need in doing the little dance on them or nothing like that. Ain't no need for unsportsmanlike conduct. When I score a touchdown, you just hand it back to them and just let them know this is how we do business. Okay, be a businessman about it. So we ain't gonna do no unsportsmanlike conduct on them. It's still my brother. So we all right. Yeah, he's 76. I told you, he gonna want it. But when you give it to him, it's OB. But I understood him anyway when he said he came in with an opposing, with the opposing. So we know that he's the ops on that. All right, you guys. So if that's anybody else got any other questions about your health, about the school, about the owner's manual, about the blueprint. I'm in Sagittarius. I'm in winter. Man. Yeah, so winter. So I didn't tell y'all that. So spring is infantry. Spring equals infantry. Summer equals adolescence. Fall equals adulthood, responsibility. Then winter is going to equal elder statesman, the elder. Okay, so if you're in winter, you're in your elder statesman. That means that you're spiritually mature. Okay, elder means spiritually mature. The winter will make you spiritually mature. The fall is about adulthood, so it's more being spiritually responsible. Okay, the spring is more about learning and developing that spiritual consciousness. So you're in your infantry stage, you're learning and developing your spiritual giftings. The adolescence is when you're actually, you know how when you're a teenager, you're doing stuff. So the teenager, this is where you're utilizing your spiritual gifts. See? So you got learning, utilizing, then you got being responsible, and then you got the maturity level. Okay? I'm in summer. Yes, you're 72. So you're in that utilizing phase of your spiritual gifts, right? So you out here using your skills, your spiritual gifts. You're using them. You're using them. You see? Is that also the case when your rising sun and your moon sign? I don't do rising and moon suns. I only do the two suns. The two suns represent the moon, but not in the way that they've been teaching you. Who was that? V, right? So what is your sun sign, V? I'll show you how I do it really quick. What is your sun sign, V? I'm 55. Okay, Netta, but you got to know where you at, Netta. Young with the elder inner world. Yes, mature, spiritually mature. You're Aries. Okay, so the flop of you. So Aries is all about self-discovery, all about self-improvement, all about taking the initiative. Okay, so you have that I'm the one type of mindset, you know, like always trying to be cute everywhere you go. That's fine. But the opposite of you is not your moon sign. The opposite of Aries is a what? So one of my students helped V out. The opposite of you. So you do have some kind of selfishness about you that ain't a bad thing. You need to be selfish. That means that you need to be about self. Okay. You have this self-preservation, this self-understanding. You have this self actualization. You have this self-understanding that if somebody comes to you, you won't allow them to knock you off of your block of what you feel you need for yourself. That's selfish. But the flip side of you, what they tell you is Libra. Thank you for helping her out. The flip side of you, V, is your Librian qualities. You say, ain't nobody ever said I got no Libra in me. You actually do. When the sun is shining its brightest in Aries, the darkest place on this map would be in Libra. That's the other part of you. Yes, it's you come off as if you selfish because you like to look pretty and you like to be the one, but you also like doing stuff with folk. You like partnerships. You like balance in your life. That's the other sun in you, V. That's the thing that you cannot explain. Yes, you're independent, but you're also very affectionate. She said, yeah, I do. My mom is also. So your mama is Libra Aries and you're Aries Libra. So y'all the same. Y'all the same. So Mitra teacher, is there no 13 months either? Yes, yes, when you look at the moon, but no when you look at the sun. When you look at the moon, it's 28 days per. Okay. But when you look at the sun, it's only 12. Which one are you going off of? Obviously, I'm following the sun. But we do acknowledge that the moon will give you 13 months. We do acknowledge that 4 weeks will give you 13 months, right? We do acknowledge that. Because 4 times 13 is what? If you got 52 weeks, it's all the same, but y'all are trying to break it up, is my point. So you got 13 months times 4 weeks in a month. 13 gonna give you how many weeks? Y'all know how to do math. 13 months times 4 weeks is gonna give you what? How many weeks? 13 times 4 is going to give you what? 52, Monica Modi. Don't we have 52 weeks? So we're still going off the 13 months, and we're still going off the sun thing, but you're trying to be confused because God didn't give you the gift to put it together. There's no separation of this stuff. 13 months times 4 weeks is still 52 weeks. How many weeks is it in this year? How many weeks is it in this year? Yes, the opposite of a Leo is Aquarius. How many weeks is it in this year? 52. We still going off of it. There's no separate thing. When you separate them, you get lost and confused. I'm a mathematician. This is the gift. What I'm doing is called iotro mathematics. Y'all go Google that. Y'all go look up that word. What this is, the owner's manual, the blueprint, what this is called iotro mathematics. Okay, iotro mathematics. I know math like the back of my hand. Okay, it's called iotro mathematics. I'm a master mathematician. You can't do this unless you were those types of things. When you're looking at Imhotep was a master mathematician. That then was an architecture, that then also put it into astrology terms, that then also put it into medical terms. So you have iotro mathematics today called what? Medical astrology. But you can't have astrology without astrotheology. So now you're looking at a person that knows numerology, which is the master mathematician, astrology, which is calculations and computation, right? Then you got biology, okay? And then you got theology. That's who I am, 13 Magnum. Okay, that's who I am. I'm a brother that knows all 4 of these. Not one of them, not just 2 of them, not just 3 of them, but I'm the brother that know all 4. When you find somebody else like me, tell them to come holler at your boy. Okay? That's why I preach it. That's why I teach it the way I do. Combine all 4. Okay? Combine all 4. And no, I'm not that by trade. I don't have no certification. I don't do none of that because no man can certify me but God. So if I'm a Sag, I should do my best work at my opposite sun time. Yeah, so if you're a Sag, then you got some Gemini maker of mojo, okay? So watch your eyes, maker of mojo, watch your eyes. If you're a Sagittarius, you want to watch your eyes and your thighs, right? Your eyes and your hips, your thighs and all your little bones around your little hip area that make you move. Sagittarius can wear glasses just like Geminis, and Geminis could have thigh issues and bone issues just like the Sagittarius. And it's going to be around that hip area. So watch your eyes and your thighs. Make up mojo. Thank you. Okay, look at him, y'all. I done convinced them with this 13 Magnum. Boy, you crazy. I done convinced him with that little. I just had to convince her, right? I convinced him with that. He gonna throw that little birthday out there now. Then, okay, you might well go on and give us the year because I don't know what 1976 is. What that's 1950 something, ain't it? 1950. So he said he born December the 4th, 1950, y'all. So let's go ahead and do 13 Magnum. I told you that's why you don't block these people. If you're a real teacher, you can show them. You can show them. You can teach people that will oppose you. Okay. So for December 1950 is what I'm assuming, right? Or 1951. Let me know. Is you 76 or you gonna be 76 this year? Yeah, young boy. He just had to understand who he talking to. He watched long enough. So for December. So 12, 4. I just need that year. Is it 1950? They might not let him put his year in. Is it 1950? Sagittarius and Gemini question everything. Yeah, you already know. But he's a learner. Yeah, that's a Sagittarius. That's a learner. right? But you also know he's a Gemini, so that's why he's still on here with me, because I'm the same thing. I'm a Gemini Sagittarius, he's a Sagittarius Gemini. Who would have thunk it? Same joker. Same joker. I'm 46, he's 76, so that means that he gonna be what? He was born in what, 49? Yeah, he was born in 49. Okay, brother 30 years older than me, but the same joker. Okay, so December the 4th, 49. Okay, so where are you? You was here, you started here. 13 Magnum, this is your starting point, but this is also your destination. You got to make it back to Sagittarius around this circle of life. Okay, you've been born December the 4th. How many days did you miss of Sagittarius? Man, how many days did you do? I'm sorry. You did 17 days of Sagittarius. So that means you did 5.8 years of Sagittarius before you went to the next thing. You didn't do all 10 years of Sagittarius. That's why you got to come back to do the other 4.4 years. Okay. But here we go. 5.8, and we know he's 76 years old. And I think you was 76.3. Because it's still March. So you're 76.3. So 5.8, 15.8, 25.8, 35.8, 45.8, 55.8, 65.8. So you're right here, because 75.8. So you're right here in your Leo. All right, you're in Leo. So guess what? You are adolescent in the spirit. Okay, that's what we were trying to figure out. You are adolescent in the spirit, right? Still a lot of learning to do. Adolescents still need to learn, but you are in your Leoan phase, so you do feel like you the shit. Okay, you do like attention right now. You are very skillful right now. Okay, but if there's anything that I can tell you to watch out for from a health standpoint, 75.8, and you're going to be 77, so you're still in the first deacon. Okay, being in the first deacon of Leo, man, you got to watch out for that heart. Okay, watch out for your heart. Being in the first deacon of Leo, watch out for your heart. Okay, watch out for your heart. No, that's the biggest thing. Now, these calculations that you just seen me do, nobody else you've ever seen do this before in your life. Okay, nobody. So now we've just know exactly where you are. Now look at how far you got to go, which ain't that far. You got Virgo, 10 years of Virgo, 10 years of Libra, 10 years of Scorpio, and then that 4 point whatever. So 34-ish more years, maybe 40 more years or so. And you'll be back at what? How old? 120 years old. This is what we're trying to teach people about, how to get to 120 years old. Yes, that's that skillful. Leo. He said, my wife just told me that the other day. There you go. And I ain't even your wife. I don't even know you like that. Okay. So that's what we're trying to get you to see. So yeah, you at that Leoan phase, man. You're at that Leoan phase. So yes, the sun is shining on you, my brother. You are doing great. You in your skillful moment. Remember that it's still in the adolescence spiritually, though. Don't take that to offense, because you're going to be utilizing your spiritual prowess. Okay? Adolescence means you're using your spiritual prowess. But it's one thing to use it, and it's another thing to be responsible. See, I'm down here. I'm 30 years younger than you, but I'm in my responsible, skillful phase. So we can be different ages in the spirit than what we are by the clock. Okay? That's all I want you to understand. Okay? We can be different ages. Don't mean that just because you got more years on the planet off the clock, that you will have more years than in the spirit. Okay? All right? Now, I can give you a whole lot more information, okay? We can give you the right herbs. We can give you the right foods to eat. We can give you the right spiritual tendencies, all that type of stuff, right? Just by based on your birthday. So we know that you are Sagittarius. So again, that's your fire. The opposite of you is Gemini. That's your air, okay? And then we add up that 12/4/1949. That's going to be what? 12 and 4 equals 16. That's 7. 14 and 9 is 23. That's a 5. 5 and 7 is going to make a 12. 1 and 2 is a 3. So your life path 3, then that means that you are a fire, air, fire, just like me. Except for I'm an air, fire, you're a fire, air, fire. So your thoughts, okay, your thoughts is how you bend the element. So if you think bad about something, it'll go bad. If you think good about it, 13 Magnum, it'll go good. But one thing you want to watch out for is that you have an addictive behavior. That's the fire. You got an addictive behavior. So when you like some stuff, you just keep going and 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 going. Watch that addictive behavior. You also got a propensity to have some self-control issues. Look at what I'm pointing to. Addictive behavior, the pineal gland, your sleep, overthinking, your mood swings, self-control issues. Watch your diet, watch your pancreas, watch your blood sugar, watch your digestive system. So we got nervous system, we got digestive system, and last but not least is the one we just talked about, which is the air element, right? So that's grief and depression, living in the past. Okay, you don't want to live in the past. But that also can affect your immune system and your respiratory system. So you might find yourself smoking, or you might be able to find yourself having allergies or autoimmune diseases. That's just what you had from birth. It ain't got nothing to do with your life and what you're doing. Those are your spiritual tendencies. So we know those things about you. We can also know exactly what to give you for as a remedy. So I don't sleep much at night, too much farming work. It ain't got nothing to do with the farming work. It got something to do with those are your tendencies. It don't matter about the exterior trigger. It matters about the internal tendency that you always had. Because even if it wasn't farming, you would have said the same thing about your job. If it wasn't a job you were doing, you would have said the same thing about sports you playing. If it wasn't sports you play, you would have said the same thing. You see what I'm trying to say? So it's not about the exterior trigger. It's about the internal tendency. You just got that tendency. It don't matter what you do. You would have been standing up all night because you're a thinker. You're a thinker. I just told you that. You're a thinker. So it don't matter what you do. You would have been thinking about the next day and how to get it better, how to do it better. Right? I said I don't smoke, but I do love making some wine. All right. Watch your self-control. That's all I can tell you. You know. Little wine, as long as it made out of you farming them grapes, I ain't mad at you. If it's real grape juice, I ain't mad at you. But if you going to the store getting that old stuff that got them what they call it, them sulfites in it, now you might have a problem with them sulfites. All right, you guys, look, I got to get up out of here. Anybody else? I had asthma too, dang. Okay, I had asthma too. Yes. How does 3 equals fire? How did it work? Do you see that? 3 and 8. Can y'all see that? 3 and 8. Then I got an F right there. I wrote this before I even come on the live. So these are your chakras. So 3 and 8. These are the life path numbers. Life path 3, life path 8 equals the digestive system, the pancreas, self-control issues. See, if you're a 22 and a 3, you still ain't nothing but a 4 and a 6. All right? Nobody else is doing this, you guys. If y'all want to learn this, join the HerbMan School. You got 4 more days before the price goes up, okay? Join the HerbMan School. Let me teach you. How do you know your life path number? By your birthday. Okay, you got to break down your birthday into one single digit. And it need to be 1 through 9. So once you do your full birthday, 12, 29, 19, 49, you add all of them up, they got to come to one number. Okay. Preach D, Taurus. Okay, the opposite of a Taurus is going to be a Scorpio. All right. Now I ain't gonna do nobody, but I just wanted to do Judas right there. You know, I had to convert Judas on Nova. I heard you. I heard you, 13, man. You know I appreciate you, man. You my elder, so we appreciate the love. All right. Let me get up out of here, you guys. I'm 10 minutes over. Oh my goodness, we reached 200K. Man, I love you guys, man. I appreciate all. That's the first time I reached 200K, man, since I've been on here. And I've been on here for years. Okay. So I'm glad that you guys get the information. Y'all got it. I'll be back on tomorrow, same back time, same back channel. If you guys are interested in anything that you heard here today, if you really want to get your owner's manual, it's $50, y'all. It's about 7 to 10 pages of information, and it's only $50. Okay. And all I need is your birthday. We don't need no blood type, no blood sample, no stool sample, urine sample, hair sample. I don't need that little culture from your nasty bump. We don't need no doctor's diagnosis because we don't chase diseases. Okay. What we do is simply give you a lifestyle prescription. It's going to have the herbs, the foods, and everything else you need to get you back in tune with nature. Until next time, I love you guys. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Peace. Love HerbMan. Thank you guys very much, man. Thank you, YouTubers. We love y'all too. Spell that word IATRO, IATRO, mathematics, and IATRO, mathematics. That's what you're going to learn in school. IATRO. Thank you too, Pops. We appreciate you.